Hey guys, Noah here. Like I said, kind of film these videos back to back because I want to take a little bit of time to talk about my hospital stay and kind of the moments or days leading up to it, as well as the stay itself and the immediate and long term effects of the hospital stay. So I discussed previously about my ex-wife having left around this time 2 years ago. So it was October the 22nd. When she left, I moved back to North Carolina to be with family. I was obviously taking it very hard. I don't remember a whole lot of the week between her leaving and us leaving for home. To be fair, excuse me, my sister helped to kind of calm me down, and I stayed pretty drugged up most of that week. I had a prescription for Klonopin that was as needed, and I hadn't really needed to take it as prescribed. So when I started taking it as prescribed that week, I was pretty out of it. I pretty much only got lucid enough to realize that I needed to take some more to calm back down. Klonopin's a benzodiazepine, and it really kind of affects your short-term memory, so I honestly don't remember much of that week at all. But we came back home to North Carolina, and I started staying with a friend because Mom didn't really have any place for us to stay. She had just sold her house the year previous. So I was staying with a friend, and it was pretty rough. I was pretty determined to get a job right off the bat, and thankfully I was able to find a job within 2 weeks of getting back to North Carolina. And I've held that job almost 2 years now. So I've been very grateful for that opportunity to work there, and for my boss and my boss's family. Round about November, December, the divorce papers started coming in the mail, and it was hard to kind of sign those at the time and to go through the divorce proceedings. It felt like every time I got a new paper or a new update that it opened the wound fresh again. I had a couple of phone calls with my ex-wife, and they weren't exactly friendly. I have to admit my fault in that. I was not handling the situation well, and I was pretty nasty. I was downright mean over the phone because of what I had felt was a pretty harsh betrayal. And she kind of returned that in kind. She wasn't overly pleasant either. And that's probably part of the reason we don't talk anymore, is kind of how that fallout went. The actual proceedings themselves were relatively easy and relatively quick. The divorce was finalized 4 months later, without any issue. No court battles, no fighting over anything, just easy peasy. It was actually finalized on our wedding anniversary, which was kind of a stab, but it was one that I took nonetheless. I was in email contact with her mother at the time, and understandably her mother was defending her and was not happy with how nasty I was being on the phone, and I was feeling very distraught and very upset, and expressing kind of my anger and my feelings of unfairness about the divorce and the affairs that ultimately led to the divorce. And her mother essentially told me to stop acting like a victim and to get over it, which was very, very painful from a woman who, for almost 6 years, claimed to love me like one of her own kids. It's like another betrayal, another stab in the back all over again. In retrospect, I mean, I kind of understand she's defending her daughter, and but it was hard to deal with and to hear. So some of the discussions that I had with my ex-wife and kind of her behavior and asking questions that I really did not want the answer to, should not have asked her, and that was my fault, in conjunction with just coping already with kind of the divorce proceedings and feeling so lost, as well as feeling very displaced, as well as kind of what her mother said to me really set me off. And it was within the first week of December when that happened. And I remember finding some vodka in the fridge and basically just pounding 3 or 4 shots of vodka, and then ended up cutting on my left arm, which was noticeable, but I was wearing long sleeves during the winter, and I felt like it would also be hidden. It's a weird thought, where you kind of put those marks on yourself. It's a combination of you want to be able to see it, but you're also kind of embarrassed about other people seeing it. So I was in a bad episode. I spent an entire week sleeping about 2 hours a night, spending my entire day in this state of pressure, like internal pressure. I felt so depressed that I didn't want to move, but I felt so energetic on the inside that I felt like I was going to explode, literally. It was the worst mixed episode I think I'd ever had, and it lasted for an entire week before I had gotten to the point where I called my mom and asked her to come take me to the hospital. One of my best friend, kind of watched me fall apart the night before I called my mother. So I think it was, it would have been the last week of November is the week I spent manic, and then the first week of December is the week that I would have called mom to come take me to the hospital. It was rough. I was drinking a lot more than I should have, and I was, engaging in some behavior I really shouldn't have to try and cope with a situation that I did not want to feel any of. So I called her one morning when I realized that the thought of killing myself no longer scared me or upset me. And the realization that it did not scare me let me know there was a serious problem. And that I was seriously considering it. Probably more seriously than I had at any point previous. And she took me to the hospital where they put me in kind of a low risk ward for about 6 days. And thankfully, my episode was kind of coming to an end as I was going in, and I was able to get medicated and helped, and able to meet a lot of really interesting people it's a weird combination of feeling like a vacation, but also feeling like a jail cell, in that all of us were able to, freely walk around. We could, color, draw, use the TV, go to the gym. We had to be escorted to the gym to, play sports and stuff. I read a lot. I took naps. I was very tired from the medication they were giving me. We got 3 square meals a day, but I had to wake up at 6:30 in the morning for breakfast, and I'm not a morning person. But I was able to attend a lot of group sessions. The reason it kind of feels like a jail cell is you're stuck behind locked doors. They check on you every 15 minutes, and you are not allowed to have anything remotely dangerous to yourself. No belts, no shoestrings, no pant ties, nothing like that. And I had lost a lot of weight at the time, and the only jeans I had didn't quite fit. So I spent the entire week trying to hold my jeans on my butt. So I spent 6 days going to group every day and listening to people talk about their experiences and their problems, and listening to professionals talk to us about how we should deal with our problems, and what we should do to try and go out, and when we were released from the hospital, to put our lives back together. And it was a very rewarding experience, and I can't say I'm glad I got to the point where I needed that, but I'm glad that I went when I did need it. So 6 days later, after friends and family coming to visit, I was released. And one thing immediately I knew is that there would be a fear in the kind of hearts of my mom, and especially my twin sister, that I don't think would ever go away. I think I'd officially scared them more than I ever had. And it's something that I feel bad that I got to that point, and that I didn't ask for help beforehand. But I did feel rejuvenated and kind of ready to take on the divorce proceedings and my illness. And I was recommended to a psychiatrist and a therapist, and started getting treatment too. This was before I lost my insurance. Since that, it's been a nightmare getting my medication, but that'll be a different video. The long-term effects have been amazing. I honestly feel like I'm a different person now than I would have been if I'd have never gone. So I was afraid to go into the hospital and what it would mean for me and what people would think. But I want you to know, if you ever feel like you have to be at that point, don't. It's nothing to be ashamed of, and you will get the help you need. And your friends and family might be nervous for you, but they'll never stop loving you. It's important to take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. So I hope maybe you guys can take something from my hospitalization story. And I'm sure I'll talk more about it in the coming vlogs, especially as the anniversary of kind of my going in and coming out comes up. But YouTube time's about to cut me off. So this is the second video today. I'll probably put out another one tomorrow. I hope you guys are enjoying the format, and I will see you next time.